pretty overwhelming experience to see all this shooting up here at you and everything. I am so excited to be here. I know your rear ends are tired, and your brains are probably tired, but let's see if we can tie this up in a bow and just totally make the effort you came to be here worth it. Is that a deal? Deal? I want to start and just share with you how important to mine and Lori's life being a part of this Juice Plus family is. You know, we all make decisions in life that we look back on that were incredibly important. And I was thinking, trying to rank how important the decision was when we decided to join this company. I look back on my life, for sure, number one most important decision was deciding to put God first and make him the number one priority in my life. Long time ago as a child. And that's a daily journey. You don't just decide and stop. You got to keep at it, because the self will try to get on the throne, and we have to work on that. But my second decision was marry my wonderful wife, Lori, and 31 years almost. That's a long time. Yeah. We've had a great life together. Probably the next, literally, choices that make big impact on your life, besides those two things, the next biggest decision we ever made was to trust this company, to trust this product. And I thought about that, and I'm like, there are lots of decisions. I mean, the experience-wise, birthing our kids was amazing. I guess we did decide to have a child, but that was really, we had some struggles there too, so that was in God's hands too. But in terms of a decision you made that had huge impact, our decision to join this company was the third biggest decision I've ever made in my life. That's pretty serious. And that's the degree to which I want to communicate a message to you today. That what I'm going to share with you and you being here, it's that important to me that it was the third greatest decision in my life. Now, big long journey, and we've had an amazing 4 days. But with every huge high experience that you have, don't you think every high has a low and every up has a down? So you want me to tell you the down to the Juice Plus conference? You're all up, but the down is that Monday's coming. No matter what a wonderful experience we have here, Monday is coming. And what that feels like is we have choices to make. How are you going to let that affect you? And Lori and I, we experienced the same thing also. We first heard about this business, we heard about Juice Plus, and then life came back. That top picture up there is when we were 23 years old, got in the business together, and we've experienced a lot of life together in this business. Did I do something wrong? Oh, it changed, okay. Those pictures kind of represent our journey. But we, just like you, whether it was our first event, our first Juice Plus conference, we had to go home and decide what was going to happen on Monday. Now, there are people in this room that are brand new. If you're brand new, first time ever to a Juice Plus conference, just stand up so we can clap for you. We're just so glad you're here. Absolutely amazing. And you are the guest of honor here at this conference. So glad you're here. Absolutely amazing. And there are those of you in this room that are seasoned veterans. Maybe you feel like a dinosaur at a Juice Plus conference. You've been to so many. I mean, on Friday, we did our 60-second prayer breakfast. I mean, we've been doing this a long time. But no matter how long you've been doing this, you come to leave this conference refreshed in an unbelievable way. You get excited every time about what this amazing company does to have your back. And you leave and you go home and Monday still happens. Every single time Monday happens and we have to respond. Now, the real truth is that needs to be a warning to you, not just a fact. Because you need to go home and realize that you don't have to give in to that situation. You don't have to give in and let Monday conquer where you're at right now. I remember when we got in this business, I would hear things like frustrations from people that would go back to their real world, and all of a sudden they were so excited. You ever had somebody get so excited one minute, and the next minute they're back home, and it seems like they're just like their bubble got bursted. And you're going to experience so much fullness from this weekend. When you go home, you're going to have to readjust. And the real truth is, what I found is busyness got Lori and I into this business because we wanted to have balance in our life. We wanted to have some things in our life. Lori and I she wanted to be able to stay at home as a mom. But you know, it's that same busyness to which we return that keeps us from our business. That you're going to return to a place where the distractions are there. And what we've got to realize is it's kind of like, did that change? Nope. There we go. We have to realize that it's kind of like a mountaintop experience, but I like to use this example. How many of you have ever sung Kumbaya by a campfire? Anybody old enough to remember singing Kumbaya by a campfire? Did they do that in Australia? Yeah, maybe. It's kind of like this climactic event of you have this amazing experience. You go somewhere, you just relish in the moment, you're on top of the mountain, and all of a sudden, you're singing, you're celebrating together, and there's this overwhelming place of peace. There's this feeling of no problems, I can conquer everything. And that's how I felt every single time I've come to a Juice Plus conference. I don't think I've ever sung Kumbaya at a Juice Plus conference, although we could at the prayer breakfast next time. But never sung Kumbaya at a Juice Plus conference. But I've had that feeling of just like, I got this. You know, you leave and you are just at a point of elevation where this is real. I heard these people. Their stories were amazing. You're just like, this is where I need to be. And not only are you going to go back and money's going to happen, but let me see if I can drill down a little bit as to what you're going to face when you go home. Because if we can identify the problem, do you think we can attack and address that problem if we identify it? Isn't that the first step, is knowing who your enemy is? And I really believe averageness, normalcy, the ways of the world, that's really our enemy when we go home. And what I see is this huge problem. Maybe you don't see it, but what I see is the world is going to tell me, I'm going to go home and it's going to say, every ad on TV, every person getting up in an hour and a half commute every morning, they're going to say, you know, the real deal to this world is you get a degree, you work 35 years, you put it in a 401k, and then you'll have a few years left to enjoy life. And I mean, I'm telling you, that's the song the world is going to sing at you. You may be stuck with that chorus running in your life right now. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it in a minute, but that's why, not my book, but that statement, make a life, not just a living, is so important to me, because I get burdened to see everybody around me deciding that making a living's enough. It's painful to watch. It's painful for them to get excited about what I do in my lifestyle, but they're also not willing to do what it takes to get there, so the jealousy sinks in, so they try to defeat you because they're not willing to do what you have even though they want it. And so you're going to face that. So let's identify that the world is telling you, go work, commute, drive, office, normal world, 35 years, keep socking your money away. Work as hard as you can, and if you put enough money away, then you'll be able to enjoy life. And all I'm saying is that's not necessarily bad, but I don't want to wait till I need a wheelchair to enjoy life. I want to enjoy life while I'm thriving with my kids and do amazing things. That's what you're hearing up here, these moms telling you that they can do the things with their kids they want to do now instead of having to let someone else see their child take their first step while they're working to make a living. I think about Sean and Jennifer being able to go around the world with their kids, and I saw a picture one time and it was like, there's this retired couple on the same looking boat that Sean and Jennifer had in their 60s or 70s by themselves sailing, and there's Sean and Jennifer in their 30s with their kids in the same boat, sailing around the world, doing it with their kids while they were young because they made that decision. So that's the problem. We've identified it, and you're going to go home to the world telling you that. And this is my big word. It's my big education moment for you today, is to teach you a word study. It's one word. You've heard me use it before. It's kairos. It means seize the moment. It's not that tick, tick, tick on your watch. It's that there's an opportunity, a time, and a place where something happens. And my challenge for you this weekend is, I'm telling you Monday's going to happen. I'm also telling you you're on a mountaintop. But what we know also is everybody in this room, you've sacrificed to be here. Somebody's given up a kid's ball game. Somebody spent money they didn't have on a credit card maybe to buy a plane ticket. You've stretched to be here. And if you're going to stretch and you're going to invest in your business, don't you want to go home and have it make an impact? How many of you have been to a conference before and said, this is amazing, and you go home and you let Monday take you over and you come back to the next conference and you're the same as you were when you went to the previous conference? You didn't make a decision to make a difference. And when I finish today, that's my number one goal, is for you to leave this conference deciding, no matter what gets in my way, no matter what obstacles I have, because we've already talked about it, they're going to be there. No matter what comes my way, I'm not going to let that happen to me this time. I'm going to make a difference when I go home. So kairos is that kind of decision where you're in this room. That X kind of represents time and a place. You're right here. And every one of you, if I were to do a survey, every one of you's got takeaways that are different. There'll be a lot of similar ones, but somebody's story made an impact on you. Somebody's training made an impact on you. Touching and seeing the Tower Garden in real life may have made a difference to you. But some kind of impact happened this weekend. And when kairos happens, it's that breakthrough into the normal timeline and something happens. This whole conference is a kairos moment for all of us. So what do? You look at it, think about it, you observe it, you reflect on, how does this conference need to change me? And then you discuss it with some peers. Maybe we're going to have some pods and some things we can work with and have some discussion time and Voxer groups. But here's a weird word. You're going to say, okay, he's getting religious on me now. But I'm not, because you think repent only is the Sunday word. Most of you probably don't know the real meaning of repent. It means turn away from the wrong way and turn towards the right way. And a lot of you have been heading the wrong way with your business, maybe. Heading the wrong way with decisions you're making. And this moment in time is giving you an opportunity to observe, reflect, discuss, and decide, well, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and expecting different results. Or I'm going to change to the right direction and make some changes and do something different. So that's what it means. It means to turn away from the wrong, turn towards the truth. Hopefully you've identified some things that maybe you were headed wrong and you want to go home and head in the right direction, because Monday's coming. Remember, we know that. You got to have a plan once you make that decision to make that turn. You got to have accountability. You need someone to account for. Could you hear the company saying, they see that. They're starting to provide all that for us. It's coming. Many of you already have an upline that's amazing, but some people don't even know how to be an upline, and we're going to help them. Isn't that awesome? It's not like we're going to say you're not doing it. We're saying, hey, we know that sometimes it's a new role. You don't know how, so the company's going to teach you how to be a better upline and how for your upline to be better for you. So we got a plan, we got accountability, and we got to act on it. And that requires belief. So you got to turn towards the right direction. You got to believe. I know one thing. I trust this company. I trust the people in this company as much as I trust anybody in this room. In this 30 years, I'm telling you, in 30 years, they've never violated my trust. 30 years. That's the kind of company we have. But you know, when I say that, the reason is Monday's going to happen. Do you know what? Your product is impenetrable, and Monday won't even shake it. Monday morning, that product that you've heard about all weekend, rock solid. It's not going to change. Monday ain't going to affect it. Monday morning, your Juice Plus virtual franchise and our system that's working and building businesses around the world, Monday's not going to affect it. But what you got to decide is, are you going to let Monday affect you? Because you've got a company, a product, and a system that is impenetrable. It's rock solid. You can trust me. You can trust Jeff. You can trust Sean. We've been here for a long time, and we're as committed to this as the day we started. But you know what? the number one thing we can share with you is this company has your back. They've had our back for 30 years, and they haven't even, the solidness, the stability, and the strength to take each and every one of you in the future is better than it's ever been. Unbelievable. But what I want you to do is to know that Monday also throws another curveball at you. Not only is it going to tell you the ways of the world, and you're going to see things on TV and your commercials, and the schedule's going to get busy. But you know, even though there's some things we don't like about what Monday's going to bring because we have bigger goals and bigger plans, you know what Monday also brings? It brings familiarity and comfort. And our tendency is to go home and cherish the memories of the mountaintop and settle back into the comfort of the routine. And some of you in this room have an amazing routine that others need to follow. Some of you have a routine and a comfort zone that's not good. And everywhere in between. But you need to decide, if you go home after everything you've heard, some new ideas you've learned, maybe your belief in this company's a notch up. I know when I leave one of these conferences and I hear, I'm already 100 Club, but I hear these national marketing directors up here sharing their stories. I just get totally fired up, because what it does is you hear a mom who's like, gosh, look at what she's doing with all she's got on her plate. Look at what this guy's full-time job, 4 kids at home, homeschool all of them, and the things that they're doing and the things they're achieving, I get fired up because there's more I can do. And you got to decide, are you going to go home and settle back into your nest? Are you going to go home and push yourself out of the nest and be like that eagle and push somebody else out? Because you know what? There are people in this room that can soar that haven't even begun to flap their wings yet. And you got to go do it. So don't settle back into your comfort zone. So Janet said, I do love my faith, and it's one of the things that encourages me and just keeps me going every day. I can't imagine waking up and not having that hope and that faith in my life. And so I pull a lot of stories from the Bible, because there's history there too. And I want to tell you one that's so impactful right here, because this guy could have gone home and settled into his comfort zone, but he didn't. And his name is Nehemiah. And what happened is, there was his city, his hometown had kind of been destroyed, wiped out, and they were making do. But he heard there was better that could be had if this city could just have a wall around it. If they could just be safe from their enemies, there needed to be a wall there. And he made a decision. He kind of went to the mountaintop. He went to the king, got all the resources. He had all his stuff. He was ready to go build the wall with everything he needed. So he was headed back home to go build the wall. And he faced so much rejection, obstacles. Even though he knew what he was supposed to do, he had naysayers from within. Anybody ever had family or somebody really close that just kind of like the last person you thought would tell you no, and they did, and it just like, oh my gosh, even mom, or a good friend, and it just could burst your bubble. And you know what? I guarantee you, I've had more people tell me no than you have. Jeff's had more than I have, and you know what? It's just part of the deal. It's just part of the deal, because you end up. That's how you find the yeses, is just to go through the no's. And Nehemiah didn't stop. But he had the people on the outside, those people standing outside the wall. They were gathering the troops outside, trying to rally a force against him. It's not good. But you know what? He decided that it was important enough to build that wall because of the benefit. The gain was greater than the cost, so he did it. And you got to go home. Forget the comfort zone. There's something better, but it won't be comfy day one probably, okay? And you got to have a plan. And I just want, this is kind of where my story kind of weaves into this, and I want to make use of it as an impact. So 30 years ago, Lori and I were just married a little over a year being married, we were thinking about, when do we have kids? Soon. We wanted to have kids soon. We didn't want to wait a long time. And it was a bleak picture of both of us making insignificant amounts of money in starter jobs. I was in real estate, working for a person that made $70 million a year before, and I was going to learn from him, be his apprentice, and then I was going to be able to do what he did. And Lori was working as a legal secretary at the bank. Combined income, I think, was $34,000 a year, both combined. And we had no idea how we would ever have kids and her be able to stay at home. And that was a dream, a goal, an important goal in our life for her to stay at home. And so we weren't looking for Juice Plus. We were looking for a solution to the problem. So we found Juice Plus. Long story short, we found this company, found this product, and we began to build a business not to make a lot of money. I love that new video we've got, because even with the hundreds of people making huge sums of income beyond what they ever dreamed, do you know that there are tens of thousands that are making $500 or $1,000 a month and their lives have been changed too? And if someone had showed Lori and I how to make $10,000 a month at 23 years old, we probably would have not even believed it was possible and had just moved on. But they showed us how. We needed $1,000 a month for her to quit her job, and they showed us how to do that. We were told we went to a meeting, and we were told to write down 300 names. Put 300 names down on a piece of paper, and we got so frustrated because we got to 150, and we couldn't think of any more. At 23, 24 years old, we got out wedding lists, college yearbooks, neighborhood lists, any kind of list we could find. We were working on those lists because, let me tell you something, we didn't have the level of training you had today. But when you want something bad enough and you see a solution, the only thing I remember was we decided we could do this, and we left that first meeting, and they said, you need to go home and make a list of 300 names. Now, even though that was intimidating, we were told to do that, we did it. But here's what happened. This may drop your ego down. We got to 150, and we called our sponsor kind of like, we can't get to 300. We were trying so hard. We really were. We only got 150. He said, that's no problem. Just get the Yellow Pages out. Now you'd say get the Yellow Pages app out, but back then it was get the Yellow Pages out. And we got the Yellow Pages out, and he was like, I said, there is no way we're going to cold call people from this book. And he says, no. He says, I wouldn't either. He said, but if you'll use that book, you know so many more people than you think you do. If you start with accountants and biologists and chiropractors and dentists and exterminators, and you go down the list, he said, you will think of so many people that you know in your life that you never even recalled upon. And we had 300 the next day, I think. And, Julie's website has got, we have a list now with categories from the Yellow Pages, so you don't have to get out the Yellow Pages anymore. There's lots of resources, but that was our tool back then. So we did, and we got 38 customers the first month. It was amazing, and our belief in this company changed. We then believed we could make more than $1,000. But what I want to show you is, I was a slide behind. There we go. This picture right here, to me, with the person climbing the mountain that's belayed to somebody up at the top, the reason I put that picture here is there is somebody who has already achieved what you want to achieve, and they're dangling a rope down to you, and they will help you in this business. That's one of the things in this company. You don't have to go to outside help. That's what John and KJ were sharing with you this morning. There are people in this company that have already done it, that have already gone down that path, that will pull you up to the top of the mountain with them. I promise you, they're there, and there's no cost, and they're available for you to reach out, and they'll put a hand. I mean, I know people that aren't in my upline, that if I call them and needed help, I see some of them right here on the front row, that they'd have a lifeline out for me, and they would help me just like that. It wouldn't take even a strong phone call, because they care about me, but they care about this company, and they care about you succeeding too. So you need to connect with somebody. The person that got me in the business didn't understand the business. The person above them did. he saw us get that many customers and 5 distributors our first month, and he said, you need to be a national marketing director, not a $1,000 a month person. And he reached that lifeline out, and he showed us the model, showed us the path, and we responded. And that lifeline's there for you too. But, it's there. But on Mondays, when Monday comes, you hear, what's the guy's name, the video? Who's the, Simon Sinek has the video about why. You know, the real why came from Viktor Frankl, the World War II prison camp survivor, and he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning, and he said, people say, why did you survive and others not survive? And he said, because I had a reason. I wanted to get out. I wanted to do something when I got out. The desire not to die was not enough. He had to have a purpose and a reason to get out and do something. Those that just didn't want to die, they died. But those that wanted to do something with their life, they fought through all those tragedies like Viktor Frankl, and they got out. So you do need a reason. And the reason I'm saying this is, if your goal in this business is $10,000 a month, if that's your goal, and you reach it, and you can, and you will, you know what your goal is going to be? 10,001. And when you hit 10,001, it's going to be 10,002. So if your goal in this business is a monetary figure, you're never going to reach your goal. But if your goal in this business is what can the fruit of this business do for the life you want to build, then you got some meat on the bones there. And for those people, that why, it's great to become a national marketing director, but what you heard was, now that I'm an NMD, look what's happened to my life. NMD was a manifestation of what they wanted, the income, the insurance, the time with their family. That's what you're hearing. The title's important because it's a marker of what you've achieved, but it's what they wanted, what that could do for the life they needed and they wanted, that really is the why that made them stick with it. And you got to find that. So we got money's a problem, and we're talking about solutions to that problem. That's where we kind of got, we identified the problem, that you're going to face it. And I want to tell you now some things that I think will help you overcome that. If you've decided you want to go home and do that, one of the things you got to do is you don't need to put on boots in March, but you do need a DMO. You need some kind of rhythm to your business. And when I was 13, my parents got divorced, and a man named Gary O'Malley was kind of the first surrogate father or mentor that came into my life. And he told me I needed a purpose and all these, some other things, but he taught me how to have a quiet time and taught me rhythm, but he did it in a way I could never do it. But he had grace, and he said, you just need a quiet time. You don't have to journal 8 pages like I do every day. Just get up and have a quiet time. And he set me a pattern in my life, but I didn't have to do it just like him. There are lots of ways you can have a rhythm. There's things you need to do. You can have a weekly planning session and set the week up. You can have tasks for each day. But the number one thing that's most important to me is that you learn to manage your month. That's the rhythm that I want you to pick up on. And there's nothing I love more than getting a new person started and seeing these team building bonus and fast track incentives and these things that help them along their way and incentivize them to climb. But you know what? Every one of those people, me included, we got in this business to build a residual income, right? Did you get in this business so that you could have residual income, or did you get in for 1 bonus check or 2 bonus checks? But what we don't realize is if as we get excited in the beginning and we climb those steps, if we build our business around chasing bonus checks, we don't manage building our paycheck. And every month, you're going to do activities and things that are going to determine what your paycheck is 10 days later. And you need to build that rhythm into your life. If you will learn how to start each month well and finish each month strong, and take intention of, I'm going to drive my paycheck up. There are things I want to do this month before the month's over to affect that paycheck. And the other thing is, and I don't have time to do this whole training, is learning how to create urgency at the end of the month. Did you know that there's so many things? Did you know humans procrastinate? Have y'all ever realized that? My son in college, it's just like vivid, like every time. I pulled an all-nighter last night, Dad. I mean, I just drank so much coffee. It was unbelievable, but I got it done. And he's like, I said, why'd you do that? He said, well, I had a test today. I said, well, did you just know last night at midnight you had the test? And it's like, no, but I was busy, Dad, you know, but he got it done. Did you know that people in Juice Plus do that too? Did you know that people in Juice Plus, they want to get qualified this month, they want to hit a goal, they want to make a bonus, and you know what they do? They procrastinate till the third week in the month, and all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I've got a goal I got to hit in a week. But you know what? In college, you can't afford to fail the exam. The sad thing is in Juice Plus, they can say, oh, well, I'll just do it next month. But as a leader and as a successful person in this business, you learn to say, you know what? We set a goal. It's going to affect your paycheck. If you're all in, I'm all in. And it's no problem. We just got a week left. It's just an opportunity to create urgency around this situation, and let's rally and get it done. And the leaders in this business, they learn how to start the month well with good intentions, but they really learn how to use urgency and finish the month strong. And if you don't know how to do that, that is a lesson to go home and secure learning how to do that, okay? Another lesson here. I'm trying to hurry. You've got to learn that more conversations are better than few. The number one thing I see people doing is they use the sledgehammer instead of the tack hammer. And they say, oh, I need 10 customers this month. You know, I got this down. I got this great new video. I'm going to talk to 11 people. I'll get 10 of them. And you know what you do? You have unfun, embarrassing, obnoxious conversations with your friends because you have to put high pressure on them because you talk to 12, want to close 10. What if you just decided to talk to 75 or 100 and 10 of them are going to be ready? And more will be ready next month. So learn to go home and use the tack hammer and have tack hammer conversations with hundreds of people instead of sledgehammer conversations with 10 or 12 every month. You'll never lose a friend. You'll never have a hard conversation. You can always be positive, and you'll never have a bad month again because your pipeline will be so full of conversations. Somebody's always ready now. But if you try and pick a select group and use the sledgehammer to create each month's business, you're going to ruin friends. You're going to ruin relationships, and you're going to have tough conversations. If you don't want to have hard conversations, the only thing that solves every problem in this business is talking to more people. Everybody in this room could say, this is going on in my business. I need to drive my paycheck. I just can't do it. And I could just close my eyes, close my ears, and I say, are you done yet? More conversations. Next. Are you done yet? Talk to more people. Honestly, that would solve 99.99% of every problem in our business. One other tip. If y'all got some dreams, if I could recruit this person, like your big elephant people you want to recruit, like if I could recruit this person, it would be amazing. It would like instantly make me 100 Club. And you're going after like, I want to sign up the hospital system for the nation of Italy. They have 3,000 hospitals. I know somebody that works there. And you want to sign up the whole hospital. Well, you know what? Big deals happen. But you know what? Everybody knows how to eat an elephant. One bite at a time. You know what I say? If you don't shoot some squirrels while you're hunting elephants, you'll starve to death. And so our business is built on hunting squirrels, and the elephants come occasionally, okay? And you know what? People that make huge incomes in this business have a lot of people making lesser incomes because they're on their way up. So hunt for the small game, and the big game's going to be there. You can have intention there, but don't focus there because those deals take a lifetime. Tools. We have a zillion tools in our business. They've been unveiled to you. I'm trying to check my time here just a minute. See, I don't even know where I am in the midst of my slides here. Let me see just 1 second. I'm good. I just want to make sure I'm not running out of time. So we have tons of tools. You can solve Monday by getting connected with your tools. There's a solution there. There's websites. There's videos. But the one thing I want to tell you is with all these tools, everybody you bring on board, they need you to orient them to those tools. You don't have to use every one of them. I'll be honest. If you told me that I had to build my business by having parties in my living room, I don't know if I could do it or not. But you know what? I can teach somebody else who loves to be a host and a hostess how to do that, and I'll go meet with 20 people at Starbucks this week. I'm going to do what it takes to get in front of the people. I know every tool we have in this business, and I teach people what's available, but I don't use every one of them, and you don't have to either. Use the ones that work for you, but you got to talk to lots of people, share the product with lots of people, and share the business with a lot of people. And there are lots of tools you got to choose, but when you bring somebody in this business, it's your responsibility to orient them to what's available, okay? And if you don't know, your upline can help you do that. The last thing that's going to help you survive Monday is plugging into community. It's probably the strongest thing that's on this list. It's plugging into the community that's around you to make this happen. And the people in this business are unbelievable. And you know, so many people exist out there in this world and they don't have a community to plug into. And share our community. A lot of people that come to this conference, they leave most impressed by the people here way more than the program that happened on stage. I had a friend, I forgot to share this. He came to his first conference with me. He worked for a Fortune 500 company. He came before he got in the business. And he left and he came home and he made sales coordinator after conference. And I said, Charlie, why did you decide to get in this business? And he said, you know, it was an impressive show. Product was good. But he said there was one thing that made me decide to do this business. He said, I go to conferences all over the world all the time. And he said, every time the people gather that the meeting's not going on, they're complaining. There's negative conversation. In the little side corners and sidebar conversations, everything's negative. They don't like the company, don't like what they're doing. They're complaining. He said the interesting thing was, y'all had positive stuff from the stage, but he said in every little side conversation I sat down, it was just as positive as what was going on the stage. When there was opportunity for negative conversations, it still didn't happen. And that's why he got in the business. Sometimes, and I am running out of time, sometimes you have to take people back to a place where they can believe in themselves again. I'll do this slide real quick. New Monday, new goals, new week. But sometimes they don't believe they can make the big goal anymore. So if you have people on your team, go home and give them a small goal, celebrate the victory in the small goal, reinstill belief in them. You can get them back to their big goal, but your responsibility is to go home and help them take a baby step and celebrate it so they believe in themselves again, okay? There's some powerful stories here. My story, mine and Lori's story, is beyond anything we could ever believe. And this company's treated us better than anything we could ever imagine. And the people at this company are amazing. But you take Bob and Sue. He's got a lot of skills. But Sue Burdick, you'll never see anybody work harder than they do. Their work ethic, amongst other things, but they have exemplified and modeled that for this whole culture. Harriet Salter, she can say one word and inspire you for life. She just has that ability in her. You know that she's speaking the truth, and you know that she's with you, and she believes in you, and that's important to hear people say that. And I love Harriet like my mom. Harriet's my second mom, and she even admits that in public, which is nice, you know. Jeff and Joanna. I think about Jeff, and, you know, I think the one thing, I love Jeff, and he's like my brother, but the one thing I remember about Jeff, I could tell you a lot. Some I shouldn't tell, some I should tell, some I'm just going to tell you one, because there's so much I love about Jeff, but he taught me that for things to change, you've got to change. You know, if you want something different on Monday, you can't go home and be the same on Monday. I see Brian and Michelle Barnett just made 39 Club. I see them. They're amazing, yes, and I'm going fast. All these people need recognition, but I'm moving because I got to go, and they're amazing. Their stories are unbelievable. They decided that they wanted to live in an RV and go build their business and have some freedom that they couldn't have if they had jobs. And they seized that, and they're building their dreams, and they just bought their first house, and you know, they're excited, okay? Mick and Jenny, you've heard their story, but I mean, he was with IBM, and this company, he didn't want to leave the United States. There's a lot of details that he had a great successful career, but they were able to stay in America, build a business, and enjoy the fruits without having to return back to England when his IBM contract expired. And now they've done amazing things, and they're amazing friends in our life. And Wendy Campbell, riding her horse in Montana. I mean, Wendy has done unbelievable things in this business. Wendy's poured into all of us. But I'll never forget one thing Wendy shared with me. She said, you know what? She said, I turned it up a notch when I decided I didn't have to just go on vacation, that I could live my life as a vacation. And she took that perspective of life was too valuable to only take 2 weeks a year to do what you wanted to do. And that was powerful when she said that to me. And Wendy's got so many golden nuggets, I can't even, but there's stories that validate all these people that you're on this screen, and there are many more. They didn't let Monday change them. They changed Monday. This is a funny slide. I'm all in. You know, have you ever seen people, maybe in other direct sales companies, oh, I'm in a marketing company, and they're like ashamed to tell you what they do? I am so proud of this company, whether I'm on a boat, a hunting trip, wherever I am. I've got a Juice Plus hat on. I am proud to be a part of this company. There's no back door because it's an amazing company, and I'm proud to share that. Are you as proud to share this business and this company as you are the product? I hear a lot of people say, I got a lot of customers, but I can't build my team. Did you know what? If you've been in this room, there's as much research this business works by the people you heard walk across the stage as there is research the product works. Treat the business like it's as proven as the product, and you'll never be stopped. So here we go, winding down here. What you've experienced this weekend is the company has set a table, a feast for you. The question is, are you going to pull your chair up and eat with us? You know, Shakespeare says there's a tide in the lives of men when taken at its fullest, great fortunes doth produce. Well, we're at high tide, guys. You need to bring your bucket to the beach because there's lots for you to have, but you have to do it. We can't do it for you. And I want to piggyback on that just for a minute, and this was probably my most important slide that just is important to me. And it really, I just love what John and KJ do. Y'all excited about the BLP Plus, the Business Brave Leaders Plus program? It's so needed because leaders try to be leaders with an empty tank way too much. They don't fill their tank up. You know, I fully believe leaders are readers, but what I've seen is, let me give you an illustration. So Lori and I have our first child, and we don't have a clue do you change diapers once a day, 5 times a day? Why is our child screaming? Because your wife's nursing him, but he's not getting enough. He needs more food. We were trying everything, and the kid was hungry. We didn't know what we were doing, you know? And so we go back, and we seek counsel from other people that have been good parents, right? Is that what you do? There's a model out there, so you go ask questions. So, and we got our answers, and we had 2 choices. The person that helped us probably would have not continued to do it in this scenario, but we had 2 choices. Did we become the parents and learn what we needed to learn, or did we decide that we didn't want to take that role on, and we just keep taking our children back to the person that was taught us how to parent? And what I see so much in our society today is that people get their tank filled up as leaders, but instead of becoming the leader they need to be, they keep taking their people back to the tank. They won't become the leader. They just want their leaders to pay to get filled up at the tank. You can't do that as parents. You have to become the parent your child needs. You can't keep taking your child somewhere for somebody else to parent that child. You can't keep taking people you're trying to lead to the fuel tank and get filled up. You need to get filled up and become the resource that your people need. They got in this business to be in business with you, and it's your responsibility to lead them, not lead them to somebody else. And it's another thing this company has stepped up to the plate, and they're doing for us, is they're providing that tank for you to fill up. But it's not a tank where you fill up and it's the end of it. It's a tank where they're providing it for everybody in this company. There's a path for everybody to have a resource to get filled up. And I just challenge you. It may be difficult for some of you, but you know, Howard Hendricks, my favorite teacher, professor of all time, he said that the teacher has not taught until the student has learned. Have you ever had a teacher that gave a great lecture, but you didn't learn anything? They were like a pro from the front of the room, but when you left there, you didn't learn anything to become the teacher. It was empty talk. And what I know from 30 years of being someone who wants to be a better leader, who wants to be a student, and as you get older, people seem to respect you and they want you to mentor them, and there's great responsibility in that. Everything I've done to become a better leader came with it the ability for me to take that information and share that and pour that into the next generation. You have to, when you learn and you lead, it has to make you a better leader so that you can give back. So just make sure that you're not trying to get somebody else to parent your baby, because your baby won't respect you. Your baby won't trust you. Your baby won't follow you. You need to become the leader your people need and not prop up on somebody else. As you leave this conference, I hope you feel like I do, because whenever I feel like I'm ready to charge hell with a squirt gun. I mean, there is nothing that I can't do when I leave a Juice Plus conference. And just remember, you're there right now, but as a community, as a team, Monday's hot. And, you know, we're going to experience some heat, but we can do this, guys. You are equipped, you are ready, and we can do this because you got in this business to have freedom. The freedom that I believe as an American, and I'm sure the internationals with us believe they want freedom too. And I don't know if your flag in your country represents freedom like it does to us, but I look at that Old Glory to me, and it's like I am proud to be in a country where I'm free, you know? And this business to me is each of our individual opportunities to take advantage of that, whether it's time, money, health. Gosh, I'm so glad. I'm almost done. Don't come get me, DJ. I'm not quite done yet. I wrote this book not to make money. Anybody that writes a book to make money, I'll sell you some oceanfront property in Arizona too. You don't write books to make money. But the message was important to me enough. This message of you, each and every one of you in this room, deserves the opportunity to make a life, not just to live. And think about it. There's more for your family probably than just making a living. And so many people just waste that away. God's got a purpose for your life. Is what you're doing creating a platform for you to pursue that purpose? Do you know that this business, but the cool thing about this company is not a ground floor. Have you ever ground floor opportunity? Has anybody ever said, yeah, but you got back in when it was good, you know, it was a ground floor opportunity? Do you realize how many national marketing directors are in this business at a much more rapid rate today than when I started? We didn't even have a brochure. The little thing you can do on your phone now, I had to carry around a case that they used in school libraries. It was about this big to show something on the screen. This company is a launching pad for every generation. It's not a ground floor opportunity. And if you'll realize that, it's right there for you. You know, we were in the water filter business way back. Do you know that every family that I sell Juice Plus to, there's 12 times as much profit as there was when I sold them a water filter? 12 times. Every family represents 12 times more revenue for my business than a water filter did. Those days were good, but it's so much easier today. There's so much more to back you up, and the company's done such a great job of continuing to model that. And what you want is, this is a picture of my family, but this company and this business have become a platform for us to build the life that we wanted to build. And that's what I want to tell you is that it's not the titles, it's not all the positions, but it's reaching those levels so that you have a platform to live the life God's called you to live. Whatever that is, whatever your passions are, whatever you want to pursue, God can show you how to do that. I know my time's up. I got a red flashing sign up here. I'm almost done. Stewardship is important to me. Time, money, calendar. Time, calendar, and people. And most people know how to manage their calendar, know how to manage their time, or they try. People don't learn to manage their number one asset they have in their life, and that's their relational capital. When I recruit somebody, my number one goal is to become their people investment advisor. I need to get their trust, so they'll bring their people to me so that I can advise them how to invest the relationships they have in this business to build something beyond what they've ever dreamed. So when I get somebody in this business, I tell them I need $50, 100 names in 24 months, and we'll build any kind of business you want to build. And that's what it takes. Now, I had more slides. I'm going to skip that one. You got to make some sacrifices. When I got started in this business, I was an avid Georgia Tech ACC basketball fan. We've been in the Final Four 2 years in a row. Lori and I signed up. Two of my buddies and I, we had donated enough money together, because you had to donate money before you could buy the tickets. So we donated enough money to share tickets. We signed up in the Juice Plus business that December, and I had ACC basketball tickets. I didn't go to one game because it was more important to build my business than it was to go sit and watch a basketball game. That's the kind of decisions you have to make to get out of this what you want to get out of it. You can't just talk. You got to walk the talk. You can decide you want to be a settler and go home, or be a pioneer and change the game. You can settle, or you can be a pioneer. You got to look out there and see what tomorrow looks like and decide on the tomorrow you want, and you got to decide to seize that. What the tomorrow you want will change what you're willing to do today. And by the way, only dead fish go with the flow. So if you've decided to go home and go with the flow, you know, guilt by association. I told my team last year when I gave my leaders some T-shirts, and I created this logo, and I said, you know what? You can't just have Juice Plus. You have to be willing to be the plus in somebody's life. And until you're willing to go home and take that mantle, just having the product, just having this company, just having the opportunity is not enough. But you're going to go home and you got a couple options, and we're about done right here. I promise, DJ. Oh, he gave me one. It's green again. Oh, I got plenty of time now. No. You're going to go home and you have two options. This is the number one question I get asked in this business. Why do some people succeed and others don't? Why do some people make it and others don't? And it's related to this Monday's coming issue. And the issue is you're going to go home and you got two options. You can go home and you can get that thermometer out and you can say, oh, let's check my baby's temperature. Let's see what the temperature in the pool is. What's the temperature? And you'll find out. 98.6, 72 degrees. You'll read the temperature and you can just settle in to that temperature. So that thermometer reads that temperature. The other option is for you to go home and decide, you know what? I had a great experience this weekend. I was already committed to doing this, but now I see clearly what I need to do. I'm going to throw away that thermometer, and I'm going to be a thermostat. I'm not going to go home and let Monday tell me what the temperature is. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to set the temperature. You have those choices right now. And I'm going to close with this. First of all, I want everybody to stand up, and I want you to thank this incredible company for putting on this conference for us with the biggest applause you possibly can, because they are absolutely amazing. Unbelievable. They outdo themselves every time. And Jay, Paulo, John, DJ, Randy, we love you and we really appreciate you. But I want you to if you're willing to go home and be the thermostat and not be the thermometer, keep standing up, because you need to go home. We need to turn up the heat, and we need to create the Juice Plus life from our Juice Plus live event, the life you want to have. Let's go home and turn up the heat. See you in Indy.